remember this guy I met who talked about how he started e-commerce and he was making like about 2M a month. Everything was going fine. Then he decided to scale. He decided to buy, like, use all his money to buy products. And then product came in, the product was stopped selling. He went into debt. I was like, how do you go into debt when you bought the product, your money? It was like he borrowed money to market the product and then lost the product, just not sell. Did you test it? It was like, no, he didn't test it, but he saw the product was so good. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So we just have talked. We've talked about a lot of things. And then I just realized that, some people try to play a different game in a different stage of the e-commerce business. Okay. And it is crazy that this thing happens so much. So today I want to talk about something that I know you'll be so glad you are seeing it. If you don't know about these things, right? This is a way to break down e-commerce in a nutshell, because there are different stage and there are different things you focus at that different stage. I had the hard time doing 0 to the minimum a beginner should be focusing on making like in a month, because your profit margin is like 30 to 40%, depending on how good you are at optimizing profits and optimizing revenue. Then I was like, okay, 1 to 5M is a good place to be in e-commerce, but 5M to 15M plus. I didn't want to do the 20M a month, because if you have 20M a month, you have teams, you have systems. You can't get 20M a month without teams and systems. So I didn't want to add that to those parts, but just look at that 5M to 15M plus as 20M, 30M per month, and so on. Okay. So let's talk about 0 to 1M, what you should focus on, right? Now, if you're a complete beginner, please listen to everything here. If you're someone who has passed the stage, you realize you did most of these things, if not all of these things, at this particular stage. Okay. So first things first is this. This is the war of hustle, right? You are willing to impute every single thing you can into the business. You are willing to do volumes. You're willing to do speed. You're willing to take a lot of risk. You have to have grit of doing something over and over again, even if it almost fails. You try it again at this stage. You have no excuse for giving up because you hit a roadblock. Mostly when you have a community like this, where you can ask a question, a very simple question that hundreds of people in the community has passed through, they can say, oh, don't do this, just do this. Do one answer. You don't even need like a paragraph. Just, no, don't do this. Simple, right? So what you need to do is you need to understand at this stage, you don't have any leverage, right? The leverage you have is time, basically. If you don't have a 9 to 5 that is very stressful, and just say you're just chilling at home, or you are doing like freelance, or I don't know, let's say you have time. That's the biggest leverage you can have at this stage, because you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the experience, you don't have the wisdom yet. You might have the capital, right? If you have the capital, that's also a very good leverage, but time is your biggest leverage. So what's the first thing you should focus on? Volumes. Volumes. That's the first thing you should be focusing on, because volumes will teach you a lot of things in e-commerce or in business in general. This is not just e-commerce, but we'll focus on e-commerce, right? Volumes will teach you so much in business. Now, your main objective is to generate volumes. Any sales you can get to prove your product or service has a market. You are likely selling directly, perhaps through social media or personal network. Now, I don't like personal network if you talk about it, but I see no people who basically validate a product through personal network. I don't like doing that, because the goal of the kind of e-commerce we teach and what we do is the e-commerce we do. Yeah, our families don't know what we do. Cool. So the main thing I want you to understand here is volumes. All you need is, how can I prove this product works? How can I prove this product is something people want to buy? If people are started buying it, how do I keep proving that this product that people will like, that they like right now? That's all that matters at this stage. You need to do so much volumes. If I talk about how I've created more than 200 funnels, an average beginner would say, 200 funnels. Oh, how did you do that? No, I've been doing this for the past almost 5 years now. You don't see those volumes because you just start. So you create your first funnel. You are hoping that you make a lot of money from that funnel. And then you're disappointed when you don't make a lot of money from that funnel. Or you make some money from the funnel and funnel stop converting. Or the product stop converting. It's just because you don't have the experience to diagnose why a product stop converting. Then you move to the next thing. But the worst thing you want to do is to give up and say, this thing is not working. This thing is, they're not giving us the resource. The coaches and the instructors are hiding something that they are doing that they're not giving to us. Let me move to a different business model. If you do that, you're going to experience the same thing in every business model you go into. Because at the beginning stage, you're always going to do one thing that will make you good, which is you need to do a lot of volumes. If you don't put in volumes, trust me, nothing's happening. Okay? Nothing's happening. The next one is speed. You need to be very fast. quickly adapting to feedbacks. This, if you ask questions, if you don't ask questions, you can't get feedback. And there's nobody that forces you to ask questions. Someone was like, I forced my students to ask questions. I'm like, yeah, because I know when I was at that stage, like at that beginning stage, it was a question I asked that got me the results, right? It was a question I asked in groups, like, oh, how do I do this when this happens? And they say, oh, this is how you do it. I'm like, oh, boom, this one more knowledge I did not even know I needed. And then sometimes those questions just, you start from A and then you're on Q because you're like, oh, I thought this was the main problem I had, not knowing this is the problem, right? But you need to ask questions, or you need to find the way to absorb questions people have asked, which is the best way, right? Like meetings like this, or the recordings, or the way if you check the stand-ups, if you check the stand-up, how we do it, where we actually leave questions of questions people have asked already, right? You check it, you see how we do it so that it's easy for people to go through over and over again. So if you go to stand-up right now, let's just pick one of the stuff. Let's just say converting unconverted e-commerce customers. If you scroll down, you see how we do it. We try to lay out questions so that when you go through this stuff, these are questions people have, and these are the answers. These are the straight up answers that you need to get for this stuff. So we'll do that for every of the stand-up sessions. Also do that for the courses, if you noticed, because you do that every single part, right? So look at something like this, building hot product suits. If you scroll down, you see we have the questions there. This took us a lot of time to do, right? A lot of time to do. Someone was asking a question one time. The person was like, what's a domain name? I'm like, that's something you can ask on Google. You shouldn't be asking questions like that. If you ask those communities, people don't respect you that much, right? People don't want to help you because it just feels, oh, sorry about that. I thought I was sharing my screen. Thank you. So this is a stand-up I was talking about, right? This is the stand-up part, right? If you notice every stand-up, we have transcribed stuff, everything. We transcribe it, and then we have questions at the bottom. If you go to the bottom, you see the questions, right? You can see every single, we try to ask questions that people might have and answer those questions. So sometimes I just think of like, okay, I think someone will have these questions. I will just answer it immediately. So that when you are watching the replay or you are reading the questions, you already have questions for the future that you might not even know you will encounter. Then if you also notice in the course, we'll do the same thing in the course also. So if you go through the course, you go through any video in the course, right? Let's say something like hot product rapid validation system. If you noticed, if you scroll down, right, you see all this stuff, we do the transcribe of the school, but then things like this, we ask this kind of questions so that people will know what to do. You can see what is product validation. In case you love reading, the reason why I did this stuff was I love reading like me, love watching videos. So those who love watching videos, watch videos, and those who love reading, I can absorb very fast. We just absorb this very fast. But at the same time, you get these questions, right? You get these questions and they actually like make so much sense. Trust me, it's not easy to do, but I know basically like a lot of people love it. I love it myself. We'll keep doing it. Okay. So that is one way, but you need to basically get feedbacks, right? You need to get feedbacks. You need to find questions everywhere and just ask, right? Just ask. Someone who is doing that really well in our community, ask questions anytime. There's no dumb question, right? I'm not even surprised that it's going to be the business like multi-millions very soon. Because every time you have an obstacle and you ask questions, you get clarity. That's the thing. As a beginner, you need more clarity than any other thing. Okay? So you want to get those feedback and then you want to identify what resonates with the Nigerian audience. You might be testing different products to see what gain traction. But what I want you to understand is you need speed. You see a product that you're like, this product might sell. Don't overthink. Validate it. Will it sell? Is it true? Does it have any existing demands, any existing store? Okay. Spend one on validating it and say, okay, let me see if I can sell this stuff. If it's in your niche, 10 times better. That's why I say start with your niche. So what you want to do is you want to just be fast to implement. That's the thing. Now, initial risk. There's a thing about risk. So people don't understand. No matter what, you're going to take some form of risk. The risk most people just understand is the money risk. Oh, I'm going to spend 100K to buy this course. I'm going to spend 100K to buy products. No, that's not the only kind of risk. There's time risk. But in business, time risk is a very good kind of risk. But this one in business, even if you break up with the business, even if business don't go fine, guess what happened? You learn so much. That's if you decide to learn. That's why I always recommend people learn these skills. Go to the program, learn stuff in the program, implement it. Because if you have those things, if you learn those things in the program, you will never forget those things. You always implement them. You might not implement them today. 3 years time, I implement them. I remember the first time I took a training on how to hire, I didn't use that training until a year plus before I now implemented the training on how to hire, right? By that time, I didn't even make a lot of mistakes because I've gotten some foundational stuff already. Now, I'm not saying you should learn for the future. You should learn about the things you are doing right now that you can implement, right? So that your risk can be reduced. The risk of investing time in the wrong product and not getting results, or using your capital on a crazy product that you shouldn't even sell at all and you waste a lot of money, right? But what I want you to understand is this: you have that personal risk right here. By investing your time and using your capital. And the only way to basically navigate this risk and get the result from the risk is to do everything yourself. Do everything yourself. Don't start paying somebody to create sales for you, to write copy for you. Mostly when you have the time to do everything yourself at this particular stage. Do everything yourself or understand the entire business. Now, the risk is not like a big risk anymore because you've learned so much. You see the point? You've learned so much now. That risk that was like crazy, that most people like, e-commerce is so risky. Which business is not risky in this world? Can you guys tell me in the comment section? Which business is not risky in this world? So every business is risky to an extent, because if it's not risky, everybody will be doing it, right? But the point is, like, you can manage the risk by doing some certain things and understanding stuff yourself. Okay? Understanding stuff yourself. So let's go to the next one. The next one is great, which is like literally your pain threshold. Your pain threshold needs to be high. You need to be ready to absorb a lot of pain. Some people don't understand that if you're in a business where you get easy yes, that business is going to be flooded very fast. E-commerce is a business model that will never be flooded in forever. The reason is because people come in and people leave immediately. They're coming. The funniest thing is not like they come in, they don't get results. They come in, they get results, and they just leave. They're like, oh, I'm not interested in doing this stuff anymore. I know it's very good. Nobody will ever call e-commerce a scam, because it makes no sense to call e-commerce a scam, because it's simply just buying and selling. But then people understand that, oh, I'm trying to make $1 million a month. How much will I have to sell to make $1 million a month? They're like, okay, I have to sell something to make $1 million a month. Okay, I have to do this to make $1 million a month. I'm not very interested. That's the thing. It's not like it's not possible. It is possible. It is foreseeable. Okay, you said crypto is very crazy. Yeah, obviously, crypto is very crazy for us. But there are people who basically, they've understood, they took their time to understand the financial markets, right? And then invested capital or got capital when people invest. It's the same thing in e-commerce. If you understand the e-commerce market, understand the e-commerce ecosystem, you basically understand that, okay, the next thing I need to do is just find a way to sell product people want, and I can do it little by little. The issue with people try to scale so fast. I was talking to somebody recently who wanted to join my e-commerce sales club, and he said he wanted to join the club. How much are you making? He said he's making about 500K, but he doesn't mind. He knows that he needs to make $1 million plus before he joins the club. I'm like, you can't join a club, because what you have in the club is systems. And then I was like, okay, what do you want to, how much do you want to make next month? He said he wants to make 10 million next month. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You have to understand that this thing takes time. It takes time. You can achieve it, no doubt about that, right? Something can happen, but it doesn't happen that way. And if you come with the mindset of, okay, in the next 90 days, I want to be doing 10 a month, when you are currently doing less than 1 million naira, what happens immediately is, when you don't achieve that goal, you feel like, I thought I was going to do this. This business model no go carry me here. Then you move to the next step. You go to the next one. You say, I want to get a Forex robot that will help me make at least $1,000 a day, or minimum $500 a day. You jump from down, you buy like 3 robots. You just keep going. You're like, oh, I'm looking for that shit coin. By the way, the shit coin is actually amazing until it's no longer amazing. I remember I made a lot of money from shitcoin and I lost a lot of money from shitcoin, which is a story everybody will tell you basically. I made money from shitcoin. But you are looking for the next shitcoin that you buy that will skyrocket to like 100x and 1000x, and then you buy it and then you're like, let me hold a little bit, and then boom. The whole idea is this: if you're looking for that fast money, that fast, how can I make this fast? You're going to get it. So we want to get rich fast. That's why we are taking trainings. That's why I literally spent about 200K on a particular training recently. It's because I want to get money fast. All of us want to get rich fast. Okay. But it's not the get rich quick scheme. We want to say, okay, what's the fastest route that we can take to getting this particular results that we want? And the route is basically to understand the entire business model of the business that you are in and find leverage points you can push that makes you better, right? One of those leverage points as a beginner is you need to understand that you will fail a lot. You have to fail forward. A very good book for that is Straightforward by John C. Maxwell. A very good book. It rewired my mindset to see failure as success, because I did not come from the whole idea of, oh, if you fail, you are learning so that you won't fail. Nah, I didn't come from that background at all. Most people have that mindset where they just know, if you have that mindset, man, amazing for you. Okay. So if you don't, please go get this book, Failing Forward. It's a very good book, very good storytelling, very good book. Trust me, very good book. Okay. At this level, understand that you need to have this pain threshold, because you'll be dealing with everything from chaotic power supply, if you depend on power, and challenging logistic people. You go talk, you go tire. You will sometimes you'll be wondering, like, are they really in the business of delivering products or giving the excuses? What are you doing, bro? I suffer for this, I suffer for these others. I need to just deliver this stuff for me, please. But then if you don't understand the ecosystem also, you basically just blame them over and over again until you realize that sometimes what's happening is not in their factor. It's not in their hands. But then at the same time, it's still their business. They have to take responsibility for it. But you also understand customer care issues and stuff. Sometimes you just go without any. I'm getting like 10 orders every day, 20 orders every day, 30 orders every day. One day you just get 2 orders. And then you start looking. Village people, what's going on? Most times when those things happen, by the way, in case you don't know, it is usually your website that is down. We have this thing where we have on our website. It's called the downtime alert. It's a WhatsApp plugin, basically. A downtime alert basically tells you when your website is down. I think that was an information I got like from a conversation call I did with somebody, and talked about it. I was like, what do you mean by that? As he talked about it, it was like, sometimes you don't get all that because your site is down. I'm like, what? Explain. And then he was like, yes, sometimes when you notice you don't get all that certain time, check your website. It was down that period. It was like I removed a wool in my eyes. I was like, what is this? And it is true. Every single time my website is down, you get low orders. And the best thing to do, you and I have clicked on ads from Facebook or Instagram that does not open. So imagine that was your site at a particular time where you are, let's say you spent like 10,000 that 1 hour, and then people click, it not open. That 10K is gone already, basically. So imagine that happens for 3 hours, 4 hours. That's why we advise beginners, start with Nigerian host, but leave Nigerian host as fast as you can, because Nigerian host and downtime, they are like husband and wife. Nothing can depart them. Okay. The next one I want you to understand is, at this stage, you are learning the ropes and likely facing many setbacks. That is the truth. Multiple setbacks that you don't even, you're like, okay, I'm trying to get orders. The next thing is, I need to deliver the orders. Okay, cool. Send the orders to the pack, send it to the agent to deliver. The agent gets it, then tell you, oh, I can't deliver tomorrow because we have so many orders. So, and the customer is like, where are you guys now? Are you guys? There's always something that will come up. The only way to understand that those things are normal is by doing it over and over again. Now, when you hear Wavy says, oh, we are going to delay one day, you're like, okay, it's normal. You just call the agent ahead of time, tell them. If you have to call the customer, tell the customer, tell them, and that's all, right? You don't overreact anymore because it's not a normal thing to you. It's not about pushing through the initial difficulties and demonstrating resilience, because you'll be tested. That's the truth. And I read it somewhere that resilience is one of the most powerful skills an entrepreneur should have. And I was like, yes, I agreed. Straight up. Resilience is one of the most powerful skills an entrepreneur should have. The reason why is because you need to find a way to get back up as much as possible. And in business, you're going to be knocked down multiple times. If you're someone doing 50 a month, just understand that person has like a whole different kind of craziness happening to within 50 a month. What are you really facing? This is the agent saying, exactly. Sure, they can't deliver tomorrow because they're going for a wedding party. But when you're doing like 20 a month, you're having problems like the 3,000 pieces of order you placed last week. We can't finish producing it this week. Can you give us like about 2 to 3 days time? Now you have orders piling up already, waiting. Then there's an issue like your Webby is held somewhere because it's very big. The Webby is held by policemen. They're telling you, come and clear it and make sure it is yours. And then you have to find a way to do that. Then you are having something like, God forbid, you are using all those 3-in-1, 4-in-1 delivery agents, and then your village will take blow whistle for your name. Because those times worked out fine in the beginning until it almost never works, basically, because most of those guys, they are not in direct contact with those people. They are just like partners. So if you allow using, let's say, using one person for a boy or 5 states, and then you send product there and there's an issue in one state, let's say the main state, that means the whole 4 states remaining don't get products. But those are the kind of problems you have. But you won't see anybody that's at that level complain about it. Do you know why? Because when you pass 5 M a month in revenue, you just have this mindset that or die and I die. You will never hear someone that is making 1.5 M a month in e-commerce complain about ad account banned or my product is not selling. Have you noticed that the people who are doing like crazy numbers, they never complain about those things. They never talk about it. Although we talk about it when we say ourselves, but we don't talk about it online. Has everyone noticed that stuff?
No.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you just get to the point where you just, okay, this is it. I don't start again. Oh, that's the you just look for solutions every single time. You leave the rest, just leave them alone. Like these people, you are not serious. Oh yeah, inventory manager, please, let's get somebody else. Let's get on that person. You just look for problems and back up. Exactly. Sheon made it correct. We've gone back up before it happens because you don't want them to tamper with your business. You have so many backups already. You see the point? So when it's happening, you already know what to do before it even happens. So when it happens, you're like, okay, next is one of those things. Okay. So you want to have that mindset, but it's also very good to start thinking about it that, okay, what kind of mindset I should have. And one of those mindsets is being resilient, right? You need to be very resilient, right? The capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness, mental toughness, right? You need to have that stuff when you start it. It's not just in e-commerce. This is business in general. You will never see a guy that is doing 5 M a month or a lady that is doing 5 M a month or 10 M a month on Instagram saying she bought product, it's not selling, come and buy from her or come and buy from him. It's not possible. Yes, sometimes you can be running in crazy debt, but still you understand that crying will not solve that problem. Complaining will not solve that problem. You go and meet your guy, meet your girl and say, Alpha, I'm having this issue. How can I solve this stuff? That's how you solve problem. You look for solution at that level. But at this level, I want to tell you that, yes, you might not have the mental capacity. That's fine. But you can start building it little by little. And the worst thing you want to do is please don't compare your early days with other people. Please, I beg you, God, please. Don't compare your 100 days with somebody 1,000 days. It's almost 3 years, right? So don't do that, right? Stay at your level. Just keep going. Just say, how can I sell 3 to 5 products a day to hit this goal? And then once I hit that goal, I want to increase more. Okay? So next one you want to look at is your offer might be perfect. You cannot even know how to create a better offer. That's why you need feedback. There's a thing in this part of the world which I don't really like. No instructor likes it, which is a normal day, if you are in Shopify groups like abroad, and you're in the groups and you're like in a coaching group, okay, let's say you buy a course of probably like 497 or 997 above, they will have a group that is feedback, right? So in the feedback part, there will be like a link. They'll say, put your link to your store or to your ads for review. Those things happen over there. Multiple of those programs. It happens over there. But over here, it doesn't happen. I don't know if it's our mindset. I don't know. Because it's supposed to be a good thing to say, put your link, let me review your stuff so that you can get results. But we don't do it because simply if someone drop a link and someone say, oh, I'm getting $20 for this product every day, people just go ahead and copy that stuff. You can say, oh, it's not possible. People will not do that. Trust me, I've been doing e-commerce for a long time. I've shared my product multiple times to the point I'll be shocked. The next day, I'm seeing like 10 people running that same stuff. When I was trying to use the product to teach people, I remember the one that really pained me was we just got this product in like about, I think then we were still getting all those 50 naira per order. I think that was 2020, something like that, 2021. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing to get this stuff. You guys should see what I'm selling. You can learn one or two things from it. I literally regretted doing that. Most people have done the same thing also where they will use their product to teach somebody who they'll copy the thing. The thing is this, I'm saying this to connect it to a point that as a beginner, most times you will know what a good offer is. The only way to know what a good offer is to get feedback or see an offer that is currently selling. So you can't sell an offer that's currently selling. Nobody is ready to put their face to their, of course, people in the e-commerce world where they say, oh, this is my brand, this is my product, you know it. But then you will notice that every single person that show you their brand is a private label product. Every single. Right? I can show you one of my private label brand, but it's private label. There's nothing you can do about it. Although I still will not because people are. So the point is, it's usually private label. That's the only time you can do that. You can't really do that if you're selling our product. That's why you don't get those feedbacks. So I'm just trying to let people know who don't know why you don't see people posting link and say, hey, this is my ads. Can you critique it for me? It's got that stuff. So now, if you want to critique, you have to pay for connotations and stuff, which I would love to do critique for free in the group. It's what it is, right? So basically, most times the offer is what you need critique on. Most times, if you're selling a product that is good and the offer is just not aligned with the product because you don't have a lot of knowledge, you have to just ask for help. You have to find a way to articulate what you're trying to do really well and ask those questions. That's the best way to do it. If you bite the bullets to share your link, that's also fine. There's something bad about it, but I'm very sure some people just like, some people are so lazy that that motivation you're trying to give to them, they don't care about it. They just want to like eat what you're eating. So offer is something that you always have issue with, but with time, basically you have issues of anymore. Now, the biggest issues I see beginners have is ads. Now, we can do organic. I've been pushing people to do organic, and I'll keep pushing people to do organic. Organic is the thing that helps you build a very long-term business or a more profitable business, either a long-term or a more profitable business, even right now or long-term. Because organic helps with so many things. It helps with trust, which is one of the biggest things that will help you transition to payment before delivery, which is how you make the most money in e-commerce, regardless of what you're doing. Organic content is basically how you can get more orders through organic systems. As a beginner, I will beg you to please watch trainings on ads. Be obsessed with ads. Understand how to do the technical stuff. There's something hard about technical stuff, right? Understand the technical stuff, but let me save you a lot of time right now. If you want your ads to get the most results, there's a correlation. There's a connection between your offer, which is your sales page, everything on your sales page, and your creatives, right? You see your creatives and your offer on your sales page or the product you're selling. Those two details that make your ad work. If you're selling 25K products and you're running ads per day, 25,000 naira per day, and you get, let's say, 10 orders, that's 2.5 per order, and you deliver 5 of those products that same day or the next day or the next 3 days, let's say every day you're doing 5 products every day, you're making a lot of money already, right? You're around like, give or take, at least minimum, you shouldn't be less than 50K profits when you're doing that minimum, right? So here's what happens. You will start with a particular creative. It will be giving orders until one day it stops giving orders. And then you start saying, what should I do now? Start looking for new creative. Guess what you should do? When you run an ad with the creative, because think about it, every other thing is constant. Pixel is constant. Your ad, whether it's ABO, CBO, whatever you're using, is ABO right now, but let's say whatever you're using, all those things are constant. The only thing that's a variable that makes you get the most results is your creatives. I will say this over and over again. In case you think, oh, there's a special strategies, tactics, there's no need to lie to you. There's no need to try to bend your hand and tell you the strategy that you said to you that will make you get a lot of sales. It is your creatives. And then your offer, which is on your sales page or your copy or wherever it's on your sales to your products. Those two things are the things that make you get tons of sales. It's not a strategy alone. There's no, oh, put 5K here, do 1K here. Those things are things you just do. Trust me, if you want to save yourself stress, I'm telling you this from experience, from spending multiple millions on ads, just focus on the creatives, right? If you even have this mindset in this beginning, to help you so much when you start scaling, because you will basically just understand that, okay, all I need to do is focus on just doing multiple creatives, creating multiple creatives and testing most of them. But before you start doing that, make sure your sales page, make sure your product, make sure your offer, everything is on point. Once you can do that, you are cool. And then in the offer part, if I want to start breaking down the offer part, I would say have a product that has high AOV, which is high. And if you have higher sales value, you make more profits at the end of the day, right? So if you're going to make more profits and you spend, let's say, 2.5 per order, and you're making, people are buying multiple packages from you, and you're making like 20K profits from each product you sell, are 2.5 per order. How many of those products would you like to sell every day? Let me know. How many of those will you like to get every day? How many of these 2.5 will you like to spend on ads? I'll blow my budget on it in as much as delivery is going smoothly. Exactly. You blow your entire budget on it. That's when you realize that there's nothing like budget. In fact, the issue we are having is we can't spend enough budget. Just listen to what I just said now. We can't spend enough budget. That's the issue. We can't spend enough budget profitably. When you start hearing people talk about, oh, you're spending 500K on ads, you're spending 300K on ads, you're spending 1 million on ads, it is because they have a system that is working. The creative is working like crazy. The offer is working like crazy. But for some reason, we just want to scale the hell out of it. But the audience size is so small for that product that if you scale so much, you just end up burning money down the line. Imagine you're spending like on ads, right? Do you know how much profit, how much sales you're getting from that stuff? So the thing is, you want to understand that once you can get good creatives, your AOV is really good, right? You are delivering well. Trust me when I say this stuff, you are going to basically enjoy e-commerce, right? You are going to enjoy e-commerce really well. That's what I can tell you. You're going to enjoy e-commerce. So focus on creatives. First of all, I started with learn the basics of how to set up my ads, how to do this. Spend 3 days learning all this. Spend 2-3 days practicing it. Open your ad manager, ad account. Learn how to connect page to ad accounts. Learn how to install Pixel. Learn how to do all those things because those things are like constant. They are something you learn one time, you have it in your head. Except Facebook change one thing, which is easy to just find. Learn how to manipulate. How do I put this ad account in this place? Learn those things. Those things are easy. By the way, you have everything inside the course, right? We have every single thing inside the course. There's nothing you want to implement when it comes to that ads part that we don't have already in the course. Okay? It's about it. So we have everything inside the course. And one thing I will let you understand is this. You can learn this thing in one day, but practice. You can just say, okay, I know how to connect my Facebook page to my ad accounts or multiple Facebook page ad accounts without practicing it. Nothing makes sense. Okay? By the way, don't forget, Facebook changed their interface. So if you don't see something immediately, sometimes all you have to do is just Google it immediately. Just Google it. Okay, how do I do this stuff? You see the answer. There's no need asking. Facebook change interface. I don't know why they do that. Of course, they're trying to make it better, but they change interface. So your best suit is to just go to YouTube, search for that particular thing, and sort by upload date, basically. Okay? Go to YouTube, search for that particular thing, and sort by upload it. Let's say, for instance, you're saying something like how to connect. I'll share my screen. How to connect to Facebook page. Most videos will not have the exact title, but they'll have something similar. But what you want to do when it comes to stuff like this is you want to basically sort by recently uploaded, right? That's what you want to do. So you can go to filters over here and you just go to, so you just come to filter, come to upload dates, right? To sort it. So you can see this is 2 years ago, which is not correct. Let's go back to relevant. So this recently uploaded various stuff. Then you see protect this, how to hack any this. The issue like right now is this, it's not the same. People don't name the stuff the same way, right? So what you can do is you can come here. You can come here and come to all. That's what I'll do. You can see how to use one Facebook account for multiple days. So you can see this, you can take this one, watch it. Even though it's 2 years ago, you can take it and watch it. You can take this one. We have this training here in our community. I'm just trying to show you how to find things for yourself, right? You can see this one, how to create multiple ad accounts. We want how to connect 2 pages to like 1 ad account, which is very easy to do. There's nothing hard here. I'm just trying to make you understand that it's very easy to do. But that's why I said, learn the foundation first. What all the training is there? If you don't know see that stuff there, you can easily ask in a group and say, hey, I've looked for how to, let's say, how to connect 5 pages to 1 account, which is the same process. You now say, okay, I want to know how to do this. I can't find any training on YouTube about it. Then somebody will just say, oh, this is what you do now. Just do this. And then you get it. Okay? When it comes to advertising, I'm just trying to show you. It's like the same thing for TikTok, right? We don't have a training on this yet, which is on TikTok ad. My TikTok guy doesn't know how to create content, but I'll find a way to create it basically. So basically, you can see like the amount of videos on how to run TikTok ads, which is very simple, very straightforward. If you already know how to run Facebook ads, it's the same thing. So you don't have to do something special, basically. Okay? So learn the basics, right? You can, if you don't learn the basics, nothing's happening for you. I'm telling you this right now. Learn the basics, right? You might be afraid of spending too much on ads without guarantee. That's normal. And you have to do it regardless. That's the truth. Even in the process of searching for the solution, you will learn other things. When you go ahead and look for the solution yourself, you find other things you didn't even know. You're like, oh, this thing is true. I didn't think about this. I didn't think about it. You learn so much while you're looking for that particular solution right there. Okay? So you can see we spend so much time on just the beginner part. Now, the other part now is going to be very straightforward because once you're already like $1 million plus, you already have a certain mindset foundation. And then it's easier for me to just point you to the right direction of what to do so you can start getting tons of sales. Now, you'll be losing if you are fighting a war of subscription systems and delegation when you haven't secured consistent initial sales. $1 per day, you can make a lot of money in e-commerce. The issue is this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Look at this. This is e-commerce success partnership. You can see how I broke this thing down. If you take a 18K products right here and you sell one every day, you make about 500K in sales. If you sell 2 every day, you make about this. If you sell 3 every day, you make about this and you keep 1M. Or if you are too bad with money, you basically have to sell more to keep 1M. But the point is like, you want to get to the point where you sell so much and then you keep more profits, right? But the point I'm trying to make you understand is what gets you that result as a beginner is the consistent sales. You get the point? Is the consistent sales. Is that every single day I'm delivering 2 products, every single day. That is what gets you that sales over time. To the point where you wake up one morning and you're like, okay, I'm currently doing 10 orders every day with 18K products. I'm at 5M in sales. With 8 products, I'm at 7.5M in sales. See the point? It is the daily sales. That's what makes e-commerce really amazing. And don't forget, we are doing daily sales. We're not counting people who buy 2 and 3 and stuff. We're just focusing on, let's say, for instance, you sell to 10 customers every day. You sell to 5 customers every day. The goal is consistent sales. Okay? That's why I say you're losing if you're fighting a war of subscription systems. You're trying to create systems so that you won't be in the business anymore. So you can leave the business and someone will be doing it. Don't do that too in the beginning. When you haven't secured consistent initial sales, you need to get consistent sales and everything will change for you. Okay. Now let's talk about the next part. This next part is more interesting